Hello and welcome to this presentation about sequence as a control structure. The intended audience of this is VCE students doing computing units 1 and 2 and software development unit 3 and 4. Now, sequence is one of those fundamental concepts that seems so fundamental that nobody would ever get it wrong. But there are a couple of wrinkles in it. So students can explain how sequencing is important in coding. I'm actually surprised how often this catches people, just the whole concept of sequencing. But let's see what we know already. So these are true and false questions. In JavaScript, a function must appear in the code earlier than it is called. I've got a question mark on there for no good reason. So I don't know if you know if that's true or false. It's actually false. You can call something before you've written it because it's what's called hoisted into memory, which means it knows the contents of the whole page before it starts reading any of it. In PHP, same question. Can you call a function before you've defined it? Or, earlier in the sequence? And again, the answer is yes, you can. And finally in Python, is that true? And you've probably guessed that I wouldn't be asking if it wasn't. In fact, in Python runs strictly in sequence, and if you haven't told it about it already, it hasn't read ahead and hoisted it into memory. So it matters the order in which things are in, and generally speaking, it's a good idea to define your functions before you then go and call them, even if the program can handle it. So what does sequencing actually mean? It means that the instructions execute in the exact order in which they're written. Now, I'm really surprised. This seems obvious to me, but you'd be amazed how many people actually get it wrong. They just go, oh, okay, well, I told it. I didn't realise I had to tell it first. Each statement completes before the next one begins, and the flow moves from start to finish, and no statements are skipped unless explicitly directed by other control structures, such as selection statements, an if-then statement, or a function where you're basically saying, hey, I want you to go and do what it says over here. So, to give you an example, this is some JavaScript, and every character is the same. I have used exactly the same characters, it's just that the order is different. So, in the first one, example number is 42, then example number is example number plus 8, and then we write that to the console log. So in the console log, that's going to write 50. If we look at the one at the bottom, example number is 42, then we write it to the console log, and then we tell it that it's plus 8. You know what, there's a universe in which it would say, oh, well, I know we're going to be plussing 8. Let's do that before we write it. But the sequencing says, no, we write it and then we add 1 to it. And that makes perfect sense to me, but, it's not for everyone. So, in terms of functions, just to reiterate what I said about a minute ago, can I call a function before it's defined? JavaScript, yep, for sure. PHP, for sure. Python, no. This is an example of where a trace table is a really good thing to use, particularly if a program is behaving in a way that you don't expect. Trace tables aren't in the study design anymore, but what they are is basically a line, a table with a line for the sequence as it unfolds. So with this code, the variable example number, originally undefined. Line 1 becomes 42. Line 2, it's still 42, and there's what the output is. And line 3, it's 50. So if you do get yourself into a corner, or who knows, maybe years down the track they'll put trace tables back in the study design, but a trace table can help you when perhaps your sequencing is giving you trouble. So this is a nice easy concept, and I'll see you in the next video.